This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Welcome to The Secret to Everything. I am Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, and you are right where you are supposed to be in divine timing. There is a reason that you are listening to this show. There is a reason you are here. You may have found us through one of the many channels that we are on, through the beautiful broadcast capability of the X-Zone, but we are so glad you did. And I have a couple of things, as usual, to kind of spin around and talk about. And you guys have been begging me for a process. So if you're really good, if you listen really close, I might drop one in really quick if we have time. I am here with the amazing and beautiful soul named Jason Nelson. And you may or may not have heard of Jason. He is a channel. He is a psychic. And I think you will find he is absolutely, like we all are, much more. And we will probably be back with him after the break, and we'll have him tell us so much more about everything he's doing, his current projects, his beautiful books, and of course, himself. So one of the things that really, it kind of came in right before the show, I wanted to share with you. You know, a lot of times we talk about manifestation, and we talk about creation, and we talk about dreams and goals. And gosh, can you guys believe here we are in March already? But the funny thing is, and this is in my own life, it really came home to me today because we're looking at property to build. And my mom keeps saying the most profound thing, which you've probably heard before, which is, I don't think you know what you're looking for. Let me say that again in a different way. Do you know what you're looking for? You say you would like love in your life. You say you would like joy in your life. You say you would like more of this and more of that. But do you really know what you're looking for? Is it this kind of nebulous concept? So a really important energetic tool of bringing in more of what you desire is to know exactly, now it doesn't have to be the exact detail, but the exact feeling you're looking for, the exact size of something. Give your dreams some parameters. Things tend to happen more quickly when we put a little structure into place. So I like to say, you can't get what you want till you know what you want. So that's another way of saying the same thing. So think about that. As always, we have beautiful free gifts for you and many, many more ways to listen to me on thesecrettoeverything.com. If you'd like to join my mailing list, I think we're doing chakra positioning right now. And I know personally, little birdie told me Jason knows a lot about chakras, so we may get into that with him. I don't have a huge time to do a process, so I'm probably going to cut this off, but I'll see what I can do in the couple minutes before the break. I'll just kind of take a couple deep breaths. This is a safe space to express all energy. We're just going to allow it to move. This is a sacred space during this whole show and any show of mine where we know and embrace the reality that permanent and rapid change is possible, and it is possible now. It doesn't matter in what state of being, where you are in your life, what's going wrong, what's going right, where your mind, where your emotions, where you're listening to this call, what you know or don't know about the subjects we're talking about. Your frequency, your energy knows no limitation of time or space or even belief. Energy sees who you are. Energy sees that intricate combination of molecules and frequencies that you uniquely are. And this energy, love, 528, all the sacred geometry of the universe can reach in through the tones of my voice, through Jason, and alter your situation right now. You may have felt out of balance for a long time. No matter. You are here now. You may feel uneven in a spiritual, a mental, emotional, or physical way. This can all be corrected through multitudes of ways and brought to perfect homeostasis in the body and the energy field. Maybe it's something in your life that's out of balance, which is usually a reflection of the imbalance in our inner life. But not always. It may be a relationship, a business, money, family, or something else. We witness miracles all around us every single day. There is no reason that a miracle cannot happen for you today. So today, whether during this show or tonight or tomorrow or this week, we invite you to claim your miracle. Open your heart to all possibilities without any judgment. There is science here, but magic will always happen if we are in allowance of it. And again, let's take that deep breath in. And let's let it all the way out really slowly. And as we play in this energy field of this show and of this moment, as we celebrate the presence of your being, we're going to open to receive, whether it's something we need to hear, whether it's energy that needs to be moved, whether it's a new concept, or sometimes when you listen to shows like this, it opens up possibility after possibility after possibility. We're just going to allow that to settle in and saturate your being. Again, you are listening to The Secret to Everything with Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, sponsored by thesecrettoeverything.com. We'll be back with the beautiful and amazing Jason Nelson right here.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
How would you like to be able to read other people's minds? Well, the next best thing is here. When you know how to read a person's name, you know how the person thinks, feels, and behaves. Each letter in our name holds a key to unlock our true essence. Our name contains both our gifts and challenges in this lifetime. Mnemology science discovers personality secrets hidden in the placement of the letters of our names, including the first and last impression people remember about us. Sharon shows us how to interpret the arrangement of letters as outlined in her book, Know the Name, Know the Person. Sharon Lynn Wyeth created mnemology science after 18 years of research and testing her theories, and has supported thousands of people around the world in understanding themselves and others better. You'll enjoy Sharon's unique teachings as she shares her system to learn the gifts behind your given birth name. Even if you don't like your birth name, there are jewels in this book. If you're thinking of changing your name, ready to name your child, or wanting to get along better with others, this is the book for you. If you'd like to improve your relationships and change your life for the better, get the book today, Know the Name, Know the Person, or visit www.knowthename.com. That's www.knowthename.com.
Take a step back in time and discover old Florida cuisine at Marsh Landing Restaurant in Fellsmere, Florida. Enjoy delicacies such as frog legs, gator tail, catfish, and swamp cabbage, or enjoy the more traditional cuisine such as hand-cut Angus steaks, ribs, and seafood. Join us for breakfast with a southern flair featuring sweet potato pancakes, biscuits and gravy, and much more. Planning a party? Marsh Landing's private dining rooms can accommodate groups from 8 to 80 people. While you visit, enjoy the historic pictures, artifacts, and stories that line the walls. Marsh Landing is truly a unique experience. Marsh Landing Restaurant, 44 North Broadway in historic downtown Fellsmere, or visit marshlandingrestaurant.com. Marsh Landing, Old Florida cuisine at its best.
If you're a seeker, don't miss the inspiring book Shamanic Awakening, Between the Dark and the Daylight. This remarkable work chronicles shamanic counselor and indigenously trained dream decoder Sandra Cochran's 35 years of experience with diverse wisdom keepers throughout the Americas. Sandy's initiations across the British Isles, Turkey, Greece, and Egypt, combined with her knowledge of symbology, psychology, and myth, influence her dream blog and workshops. Sandy offers private readings, sacred international journeys, a meditative CD, and her book, Shamanic Awakening, to encourage you as you navigate your earth walk and create a deeper connection to yourself. Find this and more at her website, starwalkervisions.com.
Welcome back to The Secret to Everything. I am Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, and we are here. I hate to put labels on people, especially people like Jason Nelson, because there's just really no labeling here. So I'm going to let you decide who and what, which sounds kind of weird and mysterious, but fun. Jason Nelson is. So welcome to The Secret to Everything, Jason.
Oh, thank you for having me. Love that meditation you shared.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so funny that initial segment, it either goes like really, really slow or it goes really fast. And it's just no in between. But we are so delighted you're here. And first, I just want to state for the record that you've written, I don't know if these are your only two books, but I definitely know you've written a book entitled Age of the Soul. And you've also written a book called Empower Our Children. And those are available on Amazon.com. But I want to rewind. And for those of you who don't have the privilege of knowing you yet, could you kind of take us back to way beginning? Who is Jason Nelson and, kind of your journey to the now?
Sure. It started really on the night of my 25th birthday, which was August 31st, 2001. So a few years ago. And up until that point, I was really into music as my passion, but something happened that changed that path, affected my ears, affected my ability to produce and write and play and everything. And so for about 2 months, I was saying, what's next? My whole passion for life was essentially taken away, a seemingly horrible occurrence. But it all kind of came together on the night of my 25th birthday when I was asking the question for months, okay, well, what's next? Where's my life going to go next if it's not music that I've been doing for 15 years up to that point? And it was pretty profound. It was certainly an epiphany, changed my life forever, set me on this path. It was after my party, I was lying in bed with a journal I was given, and I was asking, what should I write in this journal? And then this power and presence came into the room. It was so strong, and it was so strong. I just knew it was God, and that's all I knew at the time was the name God, and began speaking to me loudly and clearly. And I wasn't religious or spiritual, didn't go to any classes. I read 2 books. Just trying to understand what was happening with my life at that point. But those books opened me up to this option that my higher power, God, Spirit, whatever somebody calls it, can speak to us. And it spoke to me for 2 hours, loudly and clearly, and I wrote it all down, and it came to me every night for 2 weeks, speaking to me loudly and clearly. And it set my life redirection, a prophetic look at kind of insight at where the world was going in this time, and universal lessons and such, and that I'd be writing books. And that came to pass 5 years later. But from that point forward, in 2001, I was open, what you call a channel or a medium. I was open. I was hearing God's Spirit every day. I was being guided. but I didn't have anyone to share it with. So 6 months later, I met my teacher, Catherine Beck. She came out of retirement at 82 years old. She said, well, I've got to work with you. And she was a world-class teacher and healer, a miracle healer, you know. And for 7 years, she taught me everything she knew, kind of passed down her legacy of 50 years of spiritual work, a pioneer in the field. And what came from that is really my primary purpose, if you will, on this planet is as a channel, as a medium for God, source, spirit, higher power, this spiritual intelligence and wisdom coming through and sharing information through books. These first 2 books are the first 2 of 7 total to come, and I'm finishing the 3rd right now. And then from the books, the divine said, we have to have training programs to put the teachings into practice. So we developed this voice channeling program, 5 accomplishments, coaching program, spiritual coaching, and into a development program. And it's all from the teachings and the wisdom that God gave me directly. And then from that, New 3 University, which is where we are today this year, which is, just this incredible vessel for the teachings and the trainings and everything that God is giving to me. And when I say God, I mean it in a universal context. I just mean whatever one's higher power is to them and what they call that to me. I call it God and I call it other names.
Interesting. So before that experience, after your music kind of fell out, would you say you were an awake person? Were you interested in spiritual things, or did that happen at that point?
This was kind of one of those rarer occurrences where for most people, because I work with, thousands of people, and so I hear all the different stories that are very, very fascinating and interesting. And typically what I hear is they're on the journey for some time. They're pursuing it actively, and they open up through developing, and it happens over a period of time. But for me, it was a bit different. For me, I read these 2 books, and one of them was Conversations with God, which gave me it opened my mind up to the possibility that God can talk to me. God can talk to this guy that wrote the book, then God can talk to me. Mm-hmm. And I know that that's what opened me up to it. But I hadn't gone to any spiritual classes. I hadn't read any other spiritual books. I hadn't, no religion, really nothing up until that point. But I did have this deep yearning desire to kind of understand what's this all about, meaning of life stuff. And I wouldn't have called it spiritual at that time. My pursuit is in university, I'd take physics and I'd take chemistry and I'd take religion and I'd take philosophy. I'd take all these classes just trying to understand meaning of life stuff. But I wouldn't have called it spiritual at that time. But when I had my epiphany on the night of my 25th birthday, it was certainly spiritual. It certainly moved into clearly a spiritual experience for me because, here I am, God's talking to me, and I'm just high as a kite on the energy of it because the power line of the source is tremendously high, especially when you're not living in it previously. And so from that point forward, I would say it was a spiritual pursuit.
You know what I find, and you're right, because I think you used the word rarer, because you really had one of those mystical, on the road to Damascus type of things where, there was a definite turning point. I find it so fascinating. And some people say this is rare, but I'm not sure, what the statistics are, if there even were any. But, I was born awake. I remember as a baby being this old soul in this baby body. And that's a totally different experience. So it's so fascinating to me to talk to you and hear that, because I've had this struggle and the journey of it, and you just got it all at once. And I have to say I'm a little jealous, Jason, and I need to talk to God about that. So We're going to find out why I had the hard road and you had the quick and easy road. We're going to have a discussion about that after the show, God and I. But anyway, let's talk about.
Well, and I think before we go to the next subject, it's really, really important that everybody understands it isn't about a better way. It's about the way that is best for you. You're this spiritual being, a soul in physical form. You're this very beautiful, amazing being that is existing right now, and that eternal you, that soul, that spiritual you had a plan, and it had a way for you, and I just wouldn't want to have people feel discouraged or, when am I going to get my big epiphany, because it happens differently for every single person, but we have to trust that the way it happens for us is the way that it was meant to happen. There's lessons, there's experiences we're meant to go through. For me, it was more of a light switch flipped on. And, also, my first memories were of seeing spirits. So I do believe, like you, that as children we're born open. And then the conditioning of the world creates fear and closes us down and twists kind of our perspective of our spiritual nature. And then we reopen it again at some point. And on my 25th birthday, that was the big pivotal point for me with that. But for everybody out there, just really appreciate your way. Just try to appreciate it. Try to embrace it and accept it and be patient with it, because my way is not your way, and your way is beautiful, and it really has meaning for you. And if you listen to, what the kind of milestones and turning points along the way are for you, you'll be able to start connecting the dots and understand your greater purpose and meaning behind why it happened for you the way it happened for you. I have a friend, a colleague, who we both procure each other's services of coaching, and he'd say, he's very spiritual, by the way, very, very, has come far in his development. But, I'd love to have a spiritual experience like you, but we had conversations about it, and he really has come to embrace, my way is the best way for me. Or maybe initially a lot of people think that we have to have an epiphany for it to be special. And I found that's just not the case. Your way is special.
And I'm glad you pointed that out. And thankfully, the audience is very gracious with me, Jason, and knows I'm an extremely sarcastic person. But I'm glad you pointed that out, because it's not you're either born awake or you have an epiphany or you're lost and wandering around forever. There's a million ways in between. And I think that's beautiful. And that's what you pointed out. So if you are like, what's Dr. Kim talking about? Or what's Jason talking about? It doesn't matter. It is your soul's path, and your soul's path will find its way in spite of our mind getting in the way and other people getting in the way and life getting in the way. And there is a trust and an openness to that. And so, I think that's probably why I was led to do what I did at the beginning. I think it's a lot of being open to receive what is right for you in your best and highest interest, at this time. And I love that you pointed that out. And now I kind of banged us up against a break, and I don't want to dig into the topic that I was going to, but maybe I can ask you this quick question. Can you give us a sneak preview of what your next book topic is going to be about?
The next book topic is actually, there's a third of the book that's around a process of manifesting one's life destiny through revealing one's life destiny. It's pretty amazing. But the book is really also around oneness and how to create a oneness within oneself so that we can create a oneness with each other in the world, leading us to world peace.
And it's interesting, and I'm going to pick this up eventually in one of our segments after the break, because I noticed that's the second time that, you have mentioned peace or world peace and in your literature, and that's a theme for you, and that must be a passion of your heart. And I really, obviously, oh my goodness, whose heart is it not a passion of these days? I think there's this gasping almost desperate, breathing need for it in our own lives, in our inner lives, in our outer lives, and certainly in the, political, geopolitical, socioeconomic worlds around us. So when we come back, I do want to touch base with you on that. I think that's really important. We talk to that. This hour is already going really fast. We thank you guys for being with us with Jason Nelson and Dr. Kimberly McGeorge on The Secret to Everything.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
There's a legend shared by many indigenous cultures of a time when the nations were cast to the four corners of the world. Each nation was given a body of sacred knowledge that held a different portion of the truth to preserve. True reality could not be known until all the nations reunited, combining the information. If a single one was missing, the world could not be reborn and darkness would prevail. The Science of Magic Radio is dedicated to reuniting the sacred knowledge. With the understanding, none of us has all the answers, but together we can open new perceptions and possibilities. Through our combined vision, the world can be reborn into a place where darkness no longer prevails. Join me, Gwilda Wiyaka, and the Science of Magic daily on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, xzbn.net, or visit us at thescienceofmagic.net.
Gibbs A. Williams, Ph.D., is a practicing psychoanalyst, supervisor, researcher, and author in New York City. Much of his life has been dedicated to understanding nature and the uses of meaningful coincidences or synchronicities. His radical and original non-Jungian, non-mystical, non-magical theory of synchronicities illuminates much of the fog surrounding this challenging and perplexing topic. His ideas and manners are fresh, presented in a style that is both entertaining and highly informative. He is also an expert on crisis intervention, specially focused on violence reduction for the police and citizens, mastering anxiety, frustration, and stress without the use of medication, and effectively preventing and treating heroin addiction. Dr. Williams can be contacted at his email address at gwwilliamsny11@aol.com or visit his website at Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
True healing must address 4 levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, for us to live joyful and productive lives. We tend to treat 3 of the 4, leaving the spiritual languishing. If you're tired of the same dysfunctional patterns cropping up in your life, Soul Balancing is for you. Trixie Phelps, owner and founder of Soul Balancing, is a naturally gifted energy healer trained in numerous esoteric forms, including shamanism. Trixie has created a powerful modality that safely and effectively clears your energetic field. A soul balancing session can remove interference, heal trauma, and restore your hope. Contact Trixie for a life-changing long-distance session today, www.soulbalancing.world.
are so glad you're listening to The Secret to Everything with Dr. Kimberly McGeorge. I am here with Mr. Jason Nelson, and I've given up describing him, so we will just enjoy and receive him. And so we'll agree to do that in the rest of the hour. Jason, so I'm going to skip around a little bit. What is your opinion on the state of the world today? And do you have any possible ideas of solutions for the restlessness and the angst and the density that we're experiencing?
Sure. Well, I'll connect in our university's tagline, which is really going to connect into some advice here. New 3 University's tagline is oneness of source, body, and soul. Actually, and the greater tagline is soul-based living ignites world peace. So, the chaos in the world, it's a difficult, challenging place, right? I mean, there's suffering more so in some areas than others, but everybody has it, even in their homes. There's discord and discomfort. But really, it begins with us. And for myself and my co-founder, New 3 University, Melissa Lilly, and Spirit, who really directs everything, it's about soul-based living. Oneness of source, body, and soul. Source being your higher power, your whatever you believe in. You could call it universe, you could call it spirit, you could call it God, Jesus, angels, spirit guides. Your body, which is your physicality, your emotion, your body, your mind, your total physical makeup, and soul, your eternal you, that spark of divinity that you are. And it's about an awareness, expanding an awareness into these 3 things, source, body, soul. And as you expand awareness into these 3 aspects of your existence and relationship to them, it's about bringing them together as one. And as you do that, you align more and more with your soul-based nature, which is love-based nature. Soul-based is love-based. So let me give you some soul-based qualities for you to just consider bringing into your life today and through the week. Unity. A lot of times when something makes us uncomfortable with another person, we want to separate from them. Of course, right? It makes us uncomfortable. Well, I invite you to play with the idea of doing the opposite, unifying. Think of yourself as one. Think of yourself as, imagine being in their shoes. Imagine how you could even want to be one with them. It's a huge personal growth opportunity. Patience. We're impatient throughout our day or our week, but patience allows us to listen and understand. These are all soul-based qualities. When we're impatient, we can't be that observer, that soul-based observer where we're watching instead of reacting. I'm going through some soul-based qualities, love-based qualities here pretty quickly, but just consider them and play with them. The observer, what would happen if you observed life, observed those around you doing things that have in the past made you feel uncomfortable and where you might react? Emotion gets pulled, thoughts get pulled. Oh, that person. What if you took a breath, a deep breath, and a big step back, virtual step back, and you just imagined observing the situation instead of engaging with it? Just watching, like the watcher on the shore, watching someone out there in the ocean swim in the waves that are crashing. And this can be the biggest opportunity for peace in our personal relationships and in, things that are happening in the world that make us very, very uncomfortable, is moving into the watcher or the observer, the soul-based observer, as I call it. So that's a simple kind of exercise that you can play with, but something that I apply, there's actually a bunch of soul-based qualities. I apply them on a daily basis, moment to moment. I'm constantly expanding into alignment with my soul. And as I do, I feel more and more peace, more consistently, more often. And with the situations that maybe in the past I didn't feel as much peace.
Kind of what I hear you saying is sometimes what we don't want to or choose to do, it's not necessarily, it is easy, it is beautiful, it is worthy, but I call it the work, and I probably shouldn't call it the work because it really doesn't become work. It becomes just your way of being. But, I kind of hear you saying, what many wise monks and, people that are mystics have said before you, which is there has to be kind of peace within before there's peace without. And that is, the inner outer reflection and that we have of our inner lives with our outer lives. I always jokingly say to my students, I say, don't tell me anything about you. I'm not going to use my psychic abilities. And I say one thing, bring me into your home. Just from walking through your home, I can spend the next 3 hours telling you things about you. I really think our outer lives are choices. And I always teach everything matters. So everything's frequency, everything's energy, everything matters, including the spiritual disciplines, meditation, breath work. I'm sure you teach numerous techniques and processes and ways of doing that, which again is choice. And you talk about free will. I noticed in one of your books, but it is our free will, what we choose. And we're different people and we're individual souls. And what nourishes me and the length of time it takes to do it or the way I do it, the way I connect to spirit, as you pointed out at the beginning of the show, Jason, may not be your process. I always want you guys to know that this is all to take and discard and use where you are and, where you're at, and then let the rest go. And always feel free to do that. None of this is, I know Jason will, totally agree with me because he already said it. It's not a definitive. Jason's not saying do this and this will be your result, because you're unique and you're on your own journey, and doing what Jason does, even if you did everything Jason did in a day, it doesn't make you Jason. And I think that's the beauty of all these souls on the planet today, is that we're not the same. That would be pretty boring, and we can have robots for that. So I love that you're saying that inner spiritual discipline, but we use these words because I hear myself saying it. And Jason, when I go into the frequency of it, discipline, oh, that feels heavy. Spiritual work, oh, that feels heavy. How can we make that light?
Well, let me put a spin on it. We use this in our spiritual coaching training program, 5 Accomplishments Coaching, because let's just face it, spiritual coaching or personal growth work, as you said, is it already does feel like work to a degree. So this is how you spin it. We like to call it these things that we reveal, the issues, if you will, we call them treasures. And we create a treasure map to your soul. The treasure map to your soul is expanding your awareness into all the ways you're uncomfortable and dispassionate and all the ways that life bothers you, so that you're aware of them, you can understand them, and have a power to change them. And so these are treasures. These are beautiful jewels and gems. Every discomfort in your body or your heart or your mind, these are treasures that lead you to the ultimate place, which is the light of your soul shining through freely, uninhibitedly. And so please try to see them as such. When we tend to want to push things down and put them under the rug, or not deal with them, and that's okay, but we want to chip away at it. And if you can see them one by one as a treasure, get to know it. The new paradigm of healing is that healing is about revealing and understanding. Healing's not about fixing. It's not about judging something as needing to be fixed and fixing it, cutting it away, making it different. The new paradigm of healing's about revealing and understanding. And when we really open up a space within ourselves to reveal and understand something, trust me, it will start to naturally transform. Because that's all these discomforts want. They're like, think of them as little inner children, little Jasons for me. You're a little child that is hurt or angry or frustrated or whatever. It just wants to be heard. And once you open up that space for it to be heard, it will start transforming. It's like the little child that comes up to mommy when she's doing the dishes, or daddy when he's watching television, and they say, not right now, not right now. And they keep coming up and pulling on the shirt, keep coming up, and because they just need to be heard, and they just need that attention. Well, that's what these little parts of us also want. And so let's love them into transformation.
I love the whole treasure thing, because you just made like spiritual work juicy and like desirable and like, let's get started. Like the whole energy shifts when you look at it like that, like this delicious, delicious, rewarding treasure hunt where there's actually satisfaction before the next treasure. And that can actually continue our whole lives. But you refer to something, and you said accomplishments, but you refer to the 5 accomplishments. I know my audience is going to write me and I'm going to be like, I have no idea. So I have to ask the question, what are the 5 accomplishments?
Well, the 5 accomplishments are accomplishment 1 is getting grounded. And this is a very expansive teaching around having our energies grounded in our body and moving properly. And by doing so, we have the full power of our life with our soul abilities and to change our life. If we're not present for our life and our moment and we're somewhere else, we don't have the power to change it. So that's number 1. Number 2 is get real with your life. And that's just simply facing it. And it's surprising how hard it is to face some aspects of life. But when we face our life, when we're grounded for it and then we can face it, then we have the power to do something about it as we choose. 3 is to get real with our inner world. So part of the understanding and revealing as a path to healing is this is what's going on in our life. This is a snapshot of facing it. Okay, now let me understand it. Let me really get to the root of where some of these where the treasures lie. and that is the power and path to healing and transforming. And then 4 is get real with God, or whatever your higher power is. It's really just the name used for your higher spiritual power. This is a really powerful step because there's been such a spiritual divide between humanity and spirit or God, source, higher power. And by this step is all about narrowing that divide until we're truly one with our higher spiritual power, what that is for an individual. And once that happens, it's just like everything transforms so beautifully, and we're living from our soul, which is 5, which is the initiation of the soul. And at this point, our soul is in the driver's seat. So where we felt out of control in the past, we feel in control because we really have a choice and a power in each moment. We're connected to our soul. We have that vision. We know where it wants to go and what it wants to do, generally speaking. We have that love from that connection to the soul. It is how we're meant to live and exist, in our loving connection with our soul. So these 5 accomplishments to becoming one with your soul are just that, to help one through the process as a personal growth practice to align more and more and more and more with the soul's loving qualities until they're living from those loving qualities the majority of the time.
So beautifully said. My favorite, I have to say, is initiation of the soul. I think we could talk about that for a long, long time, but we have to take a break. So we'll be right back with Jason Nelson, Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, right here on The Secret to Everything.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
I am Dr. Carl O'Helvey, founder, president of a new cancer foundation focusing on evidence-based physical, mental, and spiritual interventions, including natural cancer cures, prayer, meditation, affirmations, nutrition, and other related holistic cancer prevention and cure modalities. These are used in cancer education, research, and financing care. I ask for your help to continue this important work by donating at www.holisticcancerfoundation.com.
Wouldn't you love to know the secret to everything? I'm Dr. Kimberly McGeorge, and on The Secret to Everything, we will merge the practical with open investigation into all realms of the mysterious. We will talk to cutting-edge alternative health practitioners, those who inspire and motivate you in business and life, and of course, we will share stories of the paranormal, conspiracy, and cryptozoology. You will transform because of the frequency I carry, the frequencies my guests carry. Life may never be the same after you listen to this program, for the secret to everything is for you, the listener, for those who desire more in every area of their lives and believe that it can still be found. Listen and discover thesecrettoeverything.com.
Little children aren't the only ones afraid of the dark. Millions of soldiers return from war zones with PTSD, anger, frustration, fear, and loneliness, much of which surfaces during the darkness of the night. You have the chance to change the lives of these American heroes. Songs and Stories for Soldiers.us provides free MP3 players for these men and women. With a list of 3 million songs in 16 different styles, 100,000 audiobooks, and 30,000 old-time radio programs, every veteran can find something to soothe and comfort them at no cost. All our players contain an 8-hour audio program designed to help veterans fall asleep. With 1,500 plus vets now participating, it's our goal to deliver 10,000 audio players this year. Go to our website at songsandstoriesforsoldiers.us. Help us help a veteran make it through the night.
Have stumbled onto The Secret to Everything, sponsored by thesecrettoeverything.com with Dr. Kimberly McGeorge and the amazing and wonderful connected Jason Nelson. And Jason, we've talked about a lot this hour, but I want to make sure, because again, time goes fast on some of these shows, I want to make sure we talk about how people can connect with you, and then we'll talk about a few other things and remind them at the end of this segment. So first of all, though, you mentioned, New 3 University, and I assume the website is new3university.com for that, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. How did that, because when you were sharing kind of your journey, in Warp Speed, you said that that's one of the newer things, or the things that's coming to culmination and fullness, or you're working on right now. So tell us a little bit about that. And then after you do that, if you tell, any other general information, how people can get a hold of you and find out more information.
Sure, absolutely. You're correct. It is new3university.com, and that's our website where all our information trainings is that people can find. And how that came about is it's a interesting story. I'd be happy to share. I voice channeled it, so I have to describe what voice channeling is. It's probably a new idea for a lot of people. So a lot of people have heard of mediumship, the mediums on television. They provide information from deceased loved ones and such. And we've even heard of, connecting with the angels and things like that. There's a form of mediumship that Spirit has taught me and developed into a certification training program through New Through University that is what we found and what Spirit has taught me to be the clearest form of mediumship, because it's direct and it's where your higher power comes and into your space and kind of shares it, and you feel that love and high vibrational healing energy, and you allow it to speak through your voice. And so it's actually, if I was voice channeling with you, it would be the Spirit speaking to you and you having a conversation with the Spirit, not me. So basically my consciousness moves out of the way. I don't go out of my body. It's not trance where I'm not present. I'm there the whole time. It's just I'm just giving permission for this loving spiritual guidance and presence to come in and speak through my voice, in control the whole time. And for people that just start it feels kind of like an inspired speaking. A lot of people think it's a, ground shaking, you lose control, and it's not like that at all. It feels more of like a high energetic inspired speaking, but it's very useful. So when Melissa, my co-founder, New Through University, and I were traveling, because we're also personal partners, we've been together for 7 years, and we were traveling in 2015 following Spirit's guidance, and it's all through the voice channeling process that we get Spirit's guidance. And we were told to go to Paris, France, and that something really special was going to happen there, very important. And we land and get settled, and sure enough, it may have been our first voice channeling session there in our new place we're staying at in Paris. The Spirit came through and gave the vision for New 3. And it's a huge vision. There's New 3 University, which is this initial manifestation. There's New 3 Publishing, which is what the books are published under. There's a New 3 City that is going to be an actual mock city for cutting edge technologies and things, a community to begin with. But that's down the road. There's a big vision, probably that spans hundreds of years, that Melissa and I are going to get started, and get it started and do as much as we can, but it's going to take hundreds and thousands of people to really manifest this big vision of New 3, and the vision can be read about on our website. But the vision is really to ignite world peace through helping individuals come into a oneness of source, body, and soul, and ignite world peace through soul-based living. And so that's what we're doing. And we have 3 training programs currently under New 3 University. We have the 5 accomplishments coaching that I spoke about, spiritual coaching. We have voice channeling, which is mediumship. We have psychic retrieval, which is intuitive development. The thing that's different about these trainings is practitioners that go through the trainings and levels, they simultaneously learn to use the techniques for themselves, and they simultaneously learn to use them for other people. So this is kind of new with the voice channeling. One comes, they learn voice channeling for themselves. They can do it at home. They can do it well. And they also learn to use the technique to help guide other people, clients, if you will, if they choose to do it for a business, into voice channeling. So it's kind of the gift that keeps giving with these techniques.
I love that. One of my pet peeves about the spiritual community is that sometimes we keep our gifts kind of for ourselves, and we're like, well, I'll let you experience me, and my experience of these gifts, but I'm not going to let my gifts really empower you. I'm not going to share my secrets, which is so funny, because that's kind of the whole basis behind my whole brand is I'll tell you everything I've learned. I'm giving you all the secrets, nothing held back. And the ones I don't know, let's learn them together, and then I'll share those too. So I love that. That's kind of your philosophy. It's not just, this is the amazing Jason, and I have this mystical experience, and how lucky for you, you get to sit under me and receive it, which they can. Don't get me wrong, you can. But you also say, hey, if you want to have your own mystical journey and fun thing and discover these treasures and experience your own relationship with the creator or God, whatever, like you said, whatever their calling of that is, then I'll help you do that too. And I'll walk alongside you, and I'll show you everything I know up to this point. And I always say, and I'm sure you would agree with this, I only know what I know now. I learn something new every breath, every day, every night while I sleep, as you do. I know you're the same, that you and I and other people like us are constantly receiving. And part of that is being balanced, as you referred to the energetic systems, and being in alignment and being open to receive that. But I love, and I really feel this is how you guys are, Melissa, too, but I love that as you receive more, I know you'll share more, and there'll be more books, and they'll, like you said, and more classes, and there's no secrets really here. This is about, and this is part of that peace vision that you guys really have. So it's about, we're all on equal footing here. Yes, we're different and unique, but we can all be empowered and share these gifts and share these abilities and these connections together, and we'll walk alongside you and show you how to use these in a very practical way in your life. Do I kind of have the energy of it?
You got it. Exactly. And, Spirit, the divine, has channeled, in most cases, word for word, the outlines, the trainings, the techniques, everything for the trainings and the programs, to the graphic design of our website, to the brand. I mean, all of it is really just, it's easy for us to do it that way. But what that means is that Spirit's in charge. We are the vessels. We are, and we're very happy to be the vessels for the Spirit's direction. And the Spirit's got programs in the pipeline, and Spirit's got lots of projects and things, and it's going to take a lot of people to manifest it, and we're excited to invite everyone in. So yes, it is not meant for the select few. That is a big grounding point for us, is that this is meant for everyone. They already have their 4 soul abilities of talking to their higher power, healing, manifesting, intuition. So what do we do then? What we're doing at New 3 University is we're just simply helping you to open up to what you already have and to what you're already doing, and to bring awareness there, and to have it fully online at will every day of your life, so that you can have the most peaceful, productive, purposeful life, the kind of life that we're meant to live.
We're going to end there because that was so perfect. That was like the perfect wrap up. So new3university.com. The 3 spelled out. Is that correct? THREE. Is that spelled out all the way?
That's right. And we have in-person trainings twice a year in Vegas. We have distance trainings. We have free stuff. We have paid stuff. We have so much stuff. So reach out to us. Check out what we have. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, check out their stuff. That's a direct quote from Jason Nelson. So thank you so much, Jason. It was such a pleasure, such a joy. Thank you for bringing your energy to The Secret, to everything, and sharing yourself and your vision with us. Much appreciated. So this is another show. This is The Secret to Everything with Dr. Kimberly McGeorge. But if you want more, and you want to know more secrets and exposure to more amazing guests, including, I think, our next show that we're going to record, some of you may be familiar with him, is Mr. Ron Moorhead. He'll be on our next episode of The Secret to Everything on the X Zone. And he is considered one of the top authorities in the area of cryptozoology and the whole Bigfoot, Sasquatch world, really. And we have the pleasure of talking to him on our next show. So please be sure that if you enjoyed this episode, that you listen to our next episode, because we bring you the top authorities in your field, the most expansive, the most exciting, the most mysterious, the most of the mostest, because that's what we like to do. We like to give you the best. If you have any ideas for guests, please get a hold of us through the Secret to Everything .com website, and there is a form you can fill out on there if you think that you have something to share with our beautiful and amazing audience. We are always happy to consider having you and your message on the show as well. Don't forget, you can sign up for a free chakra and or aura analysis. That's by going again to the website. So we'll see you on the next episode. We so appreciate the X Zone for hosting us. We so appreciate you for listening. Keep it up. We are so in gratitude. This is Dr. Kimberly McGeorge. We'll see you next time.